Yo, 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 yo. This should be a good one. This should really be a good one. I am Terrell, Hall of Fame, D-Line, TBKC, and all that other good, beautiful, wonderful shit. Check it out. Check it out. Someone asked me a very, I think, sensible question, and I'll answer it. the the question being was that how did I feel about the exotic as far as the progression, and was it that I just hated the dog, or was I, do I think it could be fixed basically? And this is what I'll tell you about exotics. It's almost like a three-part question. And the first part would be, what is an exotic? Um, I think there's been many different versions of what people call exotics and what people deny to be exotics, and I mean, it leads to a bunch of different questions. I mean, a bunch of different answers. The second part to that question would be, you know, uh, what will we be striving for, and that sort of relates back to the first question. And the last part would be, ultimately, how do we get to that point? So let me just say this, when you say what is an exotic, I really don't know what they are. The culture of the exotic that I have seen is that, they're small, and unfortunately, it just seems like they don't care much about structure at all. And they don't care much about health at all. It's just like, it's almost in the exotic community, and I'm not trying to insult those of you who are pushing the healthy dog movement. I agree with you guys. I agree with you guys a lot. I'm not against any of you guys who are pushing the healthy dog movement with the exotics. I agree with you 100%, and I wish you guys the best of luck. I'm talking about the everybody else's, the guys that we posted videos of with their dogs falling over to the side because they couldn't stand, or dogs, tongues hanging out their mouths, all bug-eyed, just a million different things that's terrible and can be identified with these dogs. You know, as we look into the breed, the very first thing that a true exotic registry would have to do is to write a solid standard of what's not allowed. Not just saying, generalizing characteristics and saying, needs to be this tall, needs to be wide, needs to have thick bone, needs to have a bully head, that's not what truly defines a breed. We have to go into the thing of, is the dog supposed to have a good top line? Are bold legs allowed? And these are where the questions get very, very serious, because these are some questions that directly correlate to the health of the dog. Like if in the standard that the dog's not supposed to have straight legs, then that means that you're promoting a leg structure that's very, 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 very rough on the dog, from shoulders to elbows to ankles, and will more than likely end up with a bad case of arthritis and torn ligaments. And that's something that that they would have to address. Now, once you got a good standard to define what your dog was, and to start defining a look, much like the American Bully has to define the look, the next thing you would need to do is, like, how do we get there, and what is our standards going to be for getting there and getting to these points? Be quiet. But that's a rough process, and it's almost like starting all over. Some of the guys who do have some of the nicer looking dogs, they can take the ball and run with it, and just saying, our goal is to produce this look with straight legs, good top line, everything else that you would generally ask for in a dog. And it would be hard for other breeders to follow suit who are not in that thing. But the best part about it, the situation is that those breeders who do have some of the nicer dogs and the nicer, cleaner versions of exotics, they would be able to take the mantle and just run with it, because the general public would accept a healthier looking dog that has the ability to live for some time a lot better than what we've been seeing, where you get this backlash because the dog is not what you expected for it to be. And I think that's going to be a big question. Now, when we start talking about how do we get there with an exotic, it's going to be similar to what I've said about the American Bully. but even on a higher scale. Excuse me, late nights. Um, One of the things that has to be addressed, and it has to be addressed like ASAP. Stop with the whining. My dogs are terrible. But one of the things that have to be addressed and has to be addressed ASAP is that you have to eliminate the detrimental characteristics, and some of that would be the high volume of Down syndrome and the high volume of dwarfism that is in the breed, and we would have to start pushing more towards a healthy standard. You know what I mean? It's something that the dogs are healthy. I think the best example that you could give on a blueprint that they might be able to follow is what they did with the Shorty Bull. The Shorty Bull is a lot healthier animal. Still is very, very compact. Still has, of course, bully features, but it's it's an animal that was put together with great consideration and great concern for health and overall well-being. And and I know y'all like, oh my God, how are they going to do that? But that's what it would take. It would take a direct, change of course to say, okay, we're going to write a standard. This is the healthy exotic. This is what the healthy exotic is. This is the exotic. And you would have to have a registry or a kennel club or a organization, some kind of parent club that strictly followed that this is what we're doing. And anybody who has dogs with these, horrible backs and legs and, elbows and that are embarrassing us, we totally denounce you as an exotic. And it has to be almost a campaign of branding to say, this is what a true exotic is. What y'all doing is animal abuse. And I think that's one of the things that they're going to have a hard problem with, is because even the guys who have some of the cleaner and nicer exotics, they like totally refuse to denounce the people in their community who are basically putting up dogs that should never be bred, and some of them should never live. So until you have the balls to step out on the ledge and stand up for your own community and stand up against people who are doing things detrimental to your community and the image and the standard that you would be portraying to move your dog forward, it's going to be nearly impossible. I don't root against the exotic. I don't root against any breed. Why I go at the exotics the way I do is, honestly, excuse me, I'm gonna have to drink something. I've been at this table for a while, but drink a little tea. But honestly, the exotic, is probably the worst bred dog. Not even probably. I would almost guarantee it's the worst bred dog in the history of all breeds. I study breeds. I love dogs in general. And it's amazing to me that, if you look out throughout the history of all dogs everywhere, there's never been a dog that promoted these kind of health issues, these kind of deformities, these kind of just overall terrible situations for a breed. And the more they promote that, the more people like myself, who is very much so a health advocate for animals, we're going to go at your neck. We're going to go at your neck, and we're going to push for a better, healthier dog every time. And this is all it boils down to. It's going to be a very, very it's going to be a very, very tough situation across the board, but if they really want to do it, they can push forward, and they can clean up their community. You're not going to change everybody, but they can push up their community. Clean up their community like other communities have. It's just going to take a total dedication to make sure that you get involved in saying, this is really, really a healthy dog community. We don't like that shit that you're doing. It shouldn't be me, is basically what I'm saying. It shouldn't be somebody from the American bully community that's kicking your asses for having these screwed up dogs. It should be someone inside your own community, and not just someone, but several someones who is respected and stand up and say, that dog is bullshit. You was wrong for having that dog out here, trying to stud him for this price, and the dog can't even stand. It has to be somebody from home to do it. Because when I do it, they rally against me and say, I just hate the breed, I'm a hater, this, that, and the other, not even wanting to listen to what I'm saying about the dogs, which is very, very factual. But if somebody inside their own community was willing to do it and go forward and push and hit them in the mouth hard on the issues that they have in their community. That's where leadership comes in, and leadership is the main thing that's going to take to turn the exotic breed around. You know, you would probably be looking at 90% of the dogs that are in the breed wouldn't qualify under solid standards. It doesn't mean the dogs have to get bigger. It doesn't mean the dogs have to have a total change of look. The one thing that's for certain that the dogs have to become is healthy. They have to become healthy, and they have to become consistent. You know, it has to become a mission of, hey, let's see if you can make this, instead of let's see if you can make something to make us say, oh, that's what it has to be, you know. This is our goal. This is the animal we're trying to produce, not, oh man, he's the shortest, he's the craziest looking, he's the freakiest. That's the kind of shit that gets you in trouble, you know. Loose terms like freaky, you know. Hey, I like to get a little freaky sometime, but not with my elbows falling off. Anyway, man, you know, God bless y'all, man. Y'all stay safe out there, and hopefully the video was somewhat beneficial, and y'all see where I'm coming from with these dogs. I don't hate exotics, but I do hate the community that is doing what they're doing to these dogs. You know, it's animal abuse. There's no other way around it, and I hope those of you who are fighting for the exotic community truly stand up for your community and start kicking asses within the community. Until next time, much love.